Anrakyr the Traveller and Trazyn the Infinite. Time for another Win with Necrons video.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Necron tactical video for the Necron Index in 8th edition. And in this video we're going to look at the Traveller and Trazyn the Infinite. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so the last two Necron HQ units to review. We're going to start off by having a look at the stats for the Traveller. Okay, so Anrakyr the Traveller has a movement of 5 inches, he's got a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+, he's strength 6 and toughness 5, and he has 6 wounds. He's got 3 attacks with leadership 10 and a 3+ save. His faction keywords are Necrons, his keywords are character, infantry, overlord and Anrakyr the Traveller. Okay, so coming in at 178 points, this guy has very similar stats to an Overlord, except he has 1 extra attack and he has 1 extra on his strength. Now the other thing that I always look for when I'm looking at Necron characters is to see if they have an invulnerable save. And this guy indeed does have a phase shifter as well as that 3+ save, so he's got a 4+ invulnerable save. But let's have a look at the weapons that he's holding. So the Traveller is holding a Warsai, and the Warsai is +2 to strength, making his Warsai strength 8. Now that's a little bit better than most of the other Warsais that we've got, which usually run in at strength 7. So all of a sudden this guy, we're thinking he's probably going to be quite good in close combat. Now not only that, he's holding a Tachyon arrow. Now this is a very long range shooting attack, 120 inches. Well, that's an amazing amount, especially for Necrons. And it's got some great stats. It's strength 10, it's -5 AP, and it does D6 damage. However, it is a once use only weapon. But still, at the beginning of the game, this guy's going to give you 1 long range shot, which potentially could do some reasonable damage. Now as a strength 10 weapon, it's probably worthwhile trying to target units that are toughness 5, something with a good amount of wounds if they're on the table. Then it means you're going to be hitting on 2s and you're going to be wounding on 2s. And then of course D6 damage, probably worthwhile using a command point if you roll really badly. Now of course you could shoot at something with a higher toughness, then you're going to be wounding probably on 3s. It's still not bad, but obviously less chance of getting that wound through. But overall a great weapon, even though it is once use only. Ability wise, as you would expect, he has living metal, so he can regain wounds each turn. Now he has a special rule which allows him to give +1 attack to any infantry Necron units within 3 inches. That's any units, not just one, so all units within 3 inches, +1 attack. And interestingly, you don't have to be a dynasty here. That means it's even going to work on our Praetorians. So that means Late Guard, Praetorians, flayed ones, +1 attack, really awesome if you want to go close combat orientated. Now not only that, but he has My Will Be Done, once again working on any Necron infantry unit, not a dynasty unit. So you can add 1 to your hit roll, advance roll and charge roll, as well as giving +1 attack. That combination is really good. And lastly, he has Mind of the Machine Spirit. This is a short range ability of 12 inches, but you can target a vehicle and then on a 4+, you're able to shoot that vehicle's weapon. It is a weapon of your choice, and you do have to use the vehicle's ballistic skill. Having said that, you don't have to actually shoot it from the vehicle. The way it's worded, you actually shoot that weapon from the Traveller himself. So it is only a 50% chance of actually getting this power off, but it is a nice power if you can do it, and it also reaffirms the fact that this guy really does want to push forward with your phalanx and ideally with assault units. He's actually pretty good in assault, and I am going to introduce this guy into my flayed 1 Necron army. Okay, so that's him, but how about Trazyn the Infinite? Let's start off by taking a look at his stats. Okay, so Trazyn the Infinite. He moves 5 inches, he's got a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+, he's strength and toughness 5 with 6 wounds. He's got 3 attacks with leadership 10 and a 3+ save. His faction keywords are Necrons and Nihilic, and his keywords are character, infantry, overlord and Trazyn the Infinite. Okay, so Trazyn comes in at 139 points. In actual fact, that's the cheapest named character that we have. And stat-wise, as you can see, he's quite similar to the Traveller, with the exception that he maintains that strength 5 of an Overlord. However, he does still have a phase shifter, which is really nice to see. So he still has the 4+ invulnerable save. Now, weapon-wise, he has an Empathic Obliterator. This is another dedicated close combat weapon. At +2 strength, so strength 7, -1 AP and D3 wounds. Now the weapon has a special rule that if it kills a character, friend or foe, then any unit within 6 inches takes D3 mortal wounds. So you have to watch out here. If you're playing another Necron player, don't get too close because all of your units will also have to take D3 mortal wounds. Now the Traveller also has living metal, and he does have My Will Be Done, but you are limited because it only works on Nihilic infantry units, so you've got to be a little bit mindful when you're making your army up if you're using this guy. Now his last and potentially best ability is Surrogate Host, and this is for when he gets killed. So when he dies, you can choose another infantry character Necron model that isn't a once use only character, and basically you can kill him instead. Now the ability only works on a dice roll, but it is on a 2+. So as long as you don't roll a 1, you can do this. So what you would do is remove the character that is slain instead of him, and then you put him in his place, and you roll a dice, and he comes back with D3 wounds. Now of course if you roll a 1 or there's no other characters for him to replace, then he dies and is just removed from the board. Now honestly, I've never actually used this model in any edition. I found this rule to be a little bit odd. Especially when most of the characters that we have now have got more than 3 wounds, so you can only come back with D3 wounds. So I'm not really sure that it's actually worth it, unless maybe you've got a character which is in close combat, maybe it's in trouble, it's on its last wound, and then you can obviously replace him if he dies, but it's all circumstantial. So for me, I don't think it's a worthwhile rule. I don't think I would take this guy just for that specific rule. In actual fact, I can't really see a reason why I would probably take him over some of the other characters that we have. I think arguably he's probably one of the worst characters that we have for the points in the index out of the 12. So I'd love to know how you've got on with Trazyn the Infinite. Have you used him? Have you made good use of that special ability? Is it worth it, or has it not been worth it? Please comment with your experience in the comments box below. And that brings us to the end of the series. We've now reviewed every unit in the index. However, the videos aren't going to stop here. Next Monday I'm going to be back having a look at Forge World. Beam me up!